Good. All right, perfect. Well, guys, welcome to my talk here at the RSM Mastermind for 2025. And for today, what I want to really cover is my own personal story, because you guys don't know me as well as Trevor. So my own story, why and how I got into high ticket sales, how to really stand out in like interviews and Looms to really land whatever role you want. And in the mindset of an A player setter. So essentially whatever kind of role you do land, really like what you need to do to perform at the highest level. And just for myself, I just want to show for what I personally achieved. That was my biggest month personally, just under 5K USD. I've done the traveling, working, like Trevor said, on my phone every 2 seconds, but hey, I was in good views, so I had a good time. But it didn't start like this. So I want to give you guys like a background of me personally, where I started, where I came from. These pictures are horrible, but this is when I was in high school. Like, I was a total degenerate. I had no purpose. I was living for every weekend. And really, like, I just had no direction in life. I was 17, 18, I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. And like, my friends at the time, every weekend we'd party, we'd get drunk, and like, it wasn't good long term. And I knew that, but at the same time, I didn't know what else to do. I was so lost. I used weed, alcohol to distract me from just like the emptiness I had, essentially. And it was a turning point for me. Again, this is the only picture I could find in college, but I was in college, and when I finished high school, I knew that college wasn't really the right path for me. I didn't want to go down that path, but I was a young, naive 19-year-old. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do in my life yet. So I went into college. It's a very funny story. On my very first day in college, the very first 5 minutes of my first class, I had this really strong feeling that I should not be here. It was the most clearest, like, I guess you say gut feeling in my life. I should not be here. And that was really the beginning of, okay, this is definitely not what I want. I knew the 9 to 5 in the college, it wasn't very attractive to me, but I didn't know what I wanted. But it wasn't until when I was in, I was like, okay, I gotta get out of here. And a big reason why I thought that was really was because I saw what other people's lives looked like who went down the college route. But these are in specific people who just went because it's what everyone else told them. Do you know what I mean? And I see people in their 40s, 50s, stuck in a job they hated, only have 2 vacation weeks a year, and they just look so miserable. They were just stuck in a life that like I personally want. So I knew if I didn't want to follow that, I had to do something different. And it started with myself first. I knew, obviously you saw the pictures, like the drugs, the alcohol, I had to stop all that shit. And I started taking my health serious first. That is my first ever bench press. I nearly killed myself, but hey, I was trying. And then I had to find another path to make money. Obviously health is one thing, but I gotta make money as well. And the very first thing I did, funny enough, is how I met Trevor, was through affiliate marketing. And this is my old TikTok posting content. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I made $20 in 6 months. And then for the next 2-year time span, I jumped from different things. I did coaching. I got a bit of success with affiliate marketing, so I was helping complete beginners like make their first sale. I tried an agency. I even tried growth operating, but none of them really materialized because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Very little skills. And I was never able to find something that actually worked long term, because I wanted to find something that I could make consistent money, but actually do it long term, not just like hype 1 or 2 months of good and then the rest like nothing. And that's why I stumbled upon appointment setting, because this was something I actually liked and saw the potential, since I don't have to have my own business and I can just focus on one skill set, which of course was sales. And maybe you guys noticed Luke Alexander. For me, like when I first came into the whole world of appointment setting, I tried to find roles on my own. I was doing the cold outreach, I was doing Facebook groups, but I had no idea what I was doing. I was getting on interviews with like Indians that were trying to sell me on something. It was so like random. But here's the thing, right? I knew I had to eventually invest into a mentor to help me. And at the time, like early 2024, Luke was really pushing a remote protocol. That was his program. It was 997. I had 1,300 in my account, and it was a very big risk, but I did it anyway. Because the reason why it was a risk is because I had no income coming in. I had no income, and it was a big chunk of money gone. I had a few bills to pay. But I just thought to myself, like, instead of thinking of the fear of losing the money, I said, what will this actually get me? I'm going to learn new information, how to find a good setting role, how to do outreach better. So I was thinking long term, it's actually going to pay me back. So that was my mindset going into this, which is why I invested and took action. And then maybe you guys have done this as well. I began my job search. This is the time where I did cold outreach. I had like hundreds and hundreds of coaches I messaged. And I was outreaching to people every single week, and either the majority of people either never got back to me or just completely ghosted me. I never got a response. But I didn't give up. I kept going until I got a yes, because even though I got multiple rejections, I said to myself, if I keep on going, just keep on doing it, eventually I will get a yes, right? And this is where I started to make progress. So I'll touch on this more in a few minutes, but this is the business owner that I worked with for the past, I left April this year, but from March 2024 to April 2025, I worked with this business owner, huge Airbnb coach. And before I continue, the next part now of this presentation, that was just a bit about me, my story, but it's going to cover the whole Loom and interview process. So kind of just piggybacking off what Trevor talked about, what I did personally, what worked for me. So we will see what happens. So firstly, you saw my outreach message. Lena was her name. She reached out to me. Here's really the conversation. Firstly, I had to fill out an application form. I spent 2 hours doing it, guys. And the best piece of advice I would give you is to do that too. Not necessarily 2 hours, but take your time with any application form, right? A lot of setters rush through it, or even ChatGPT responses, even closer roles too. But really take your time, because you want to give a really good impression. And once I filled an application, she wanted me to make a Loom with all these questions here. For example, what stressed you out the most? What's your biggest weakness? What's your biggest strength? All these things. And a big reason why was because, you see, experience isn't always the most important thing when it comes to Looms. It's really you, because with these business owners in specific, Lena and Uzma, they have a very, very tight culture. So they wanted to see, okay, if we take this person on, will they fit the company culture? Will they actually, gel well with the other people? So that's why I had these questions here. And I'm going to show you guys my actual Loom video in a second, but I'll have these 3 points here that I personally use, which is I guess the 3 C's of a very good Loom. Firstly, clarity. So essentially be crystal clear and very easy to follow. So really tell the person who's going to watch the Loom, sales manager, offer owner, exactly who you are. Confidence, right? Bring really good energy to the video, right? If you're saying, oh, my name is Ben, it's not very enticing for the person to actually want to speak to you further. But if you come in with tons of confidence and belief in yourself, and also conviction also ties in that point as well. Energy, people can sense energy, even through Loom videos, right? If you show up so confident, you're going to put in the work and you believe in yourself, somebody will take that on and listen to it, and they'll be willing to hear you out further on an interview. And I put this here as well, what not to do in a Loom. This example here, I could say, hi, my name's Ben, and yeah, I saw you're hiring for appointment setters, done some DM outreach before for a few coaches, and yeah, I want to work with you guys. I think your offer is very cool. I'm pretty good with people, so yeah, happy to chat about it. The reason why I don't like this is because there's no structure, right? You're just yapping. That's the best way I can describe it. You're just yapping. The business owner doesn't know what kind of results you can bring. The why you and the why them are buried in filler words. You're just basically just talking rubbish, right? There's no real confidence or conviction or talking about your experience, which leads me to my next point, which I'm going to show you, hopefully this loads, is my actual Loom video that I filmed for this role. Yeah, just following all your points there, exactly that, right? I had conviction myself, good energy, and confidence. And even as well, one thing I want to say, I really acted like an A player, because if you notice from Lena, the business owner, in her messages, what she wants to see from this Loom, what stresses me out the most, my best environment I thrive in, they're looking for someone who's an A player. So for example, when I said, or the question when I said, would I be able to handle a fast-paced working environment? I said yes, because it would force me to level up and perform even better. That's a sign of an A player that business owners look for, right? I literally said, I want to be in a place where excellence is required, because I can do better, I can perform better. And not only can I make the money I want to make and perform better, but the whole business grows, because we're all performing at the highest level, right? And just overall, in the Loom, I had good energy, confidence, like I mentioned. I strategically answered all the questions how an A player setter would. Even as well, the whole idea of just disorganization, cleaning things up. Someone wants a setter who's going to come in and if there's tons of leads unanswered, like Trevor said, speed to lead is huge. So cleaning the inbox, making sure everything is kept on top of, that's also a good sign. And overall, I covered all the 3 C's, clarity, so who I was, confidence, and conviction. But if I was really summarize in my own head what I was doing, having that confidence. I know in the very beginning, like you mentioned, the whole affiliate marketing thing, if you guys don't have a ton of experience, that's fine. It's just using anything. If you were a top setter on a team for a certain period of time, if you have experience working with fitness coaches, really anything, or even if your job, for example, you mentioned, Jared, you were a sales manager before, leveraging really anything, but always just coming up with or coming onto the interview, or Loom, with good energy, confidence, and belief in yourself, because a business owner or sales manager will feel that. Now, after the Loom video, what's the best way to prepare for interviews? So, spoiler alert, Lena watched the Loom, she liked this, she invited me to an interview. And what I did before the interview was, I really made sure I had 3 things in check. 1, have a strong why, because there's tons of setters that are always getting interviews, or even closers, always get interviews. Like, people say, oh, I want to make money, I want to make this, I want to do that. But nobody can copy your why, right? Like, why are you doing this? Like, for example, I had a client of mine, Kenan, and he was on a group interview, and there was like 10 other people, but he got chosen because he had a very strong why. For him, he was working a job for the last 10 years. He's 28 now, so from 18 to 28, working a job, he hates it. He knows he wants to live a better quality life, and he feels like setting is the right vehicle for him to do that. So he will do anything in his power, whatever offer he gets on, to put in the work so the business can get results, but also he can leave his job and actually live a better quality life, right? That's his own personal why. And the thing is, he said it with so much conviction in himself because it was his why, his reason, do you know what I mean? So having a strong reason why are you here? Why do you want the role? Number 2, this is super important. Funnel hack the business owner to really understand their entire process before getting on an interview. Because on this interview, I don't have the recording unfortunately, but the setter manager did a live role play with me on the interview, and it wasn't like a DM like on the Zoom chat. It was literally face to face. Like, it's a DM setting role, but he talked to me. Hey, let's do a talking role play. So beforehand, I funnel hacked everything. Their ICP, the kind of people they help with, how they help them, like the offer itself, understanding everything to my ability. And I created a Google Doc with like 4 or 5 simple like questions, kind of similar to Trevor's framework, but personalize it to this Airbnb offer. So if there was a role play, I wouldn't be stood there like, oh shit, like I knew what to do. Do you know what I mean? And also then, show the business owner that you will do everything in your power to make this work. And if they take you on, having a lot of confidence, conviction, and hunger in yourself is a powerful energy that the person interviewing will feel. Like, I have a friend of mine who, when I was actually setting for his Airbnb offer, there was an 18-year-old, his name was Louis. He got on the offer fresh out of secondary school, high school, same thing. And 0 experience, he was doing cold outreach. But when he got on the call with the setter manager, he came on there saying, look, Chris is the setter's manager's name. I have no experience, I've never done setting before, but I promise you, like, I do not want to go to uni. I want to take a different path. If you put me on this offer, I will become top setter. I will do everything I need to do extremely well. And he took a chance on him, and he made 5K months. He did very well. But again, it's because he had such belief in himself. Look, if you take me on, I don't know everything, but I will put in the work because I want to do it. I want to help this business grow, but also I want to be top setter. I don't want to go to uni, so I will do everything I need to perform well, right? So again, having that good energy will make someone confident in you as well. And I can't really talk about this really, but like, having a strong why, again, it just means having a strong reason as to why you become an appointment setter and closer. It makes you stand out. My client Ken was the example I mentioned, the group interview example. I did not mean to skip that one. We already covered anyway, so it's good. But again, showing the business owner you'll do anything to make. Again, like I mentioned there, you have full belief in yourself that you'll make the person interviewing more confident and you. And again, I use Louis' example. And then for this interview, George Nitta, he's actually the founder of DMSentinel.com. He was the setter manager at this time. He was the one interviewing me, and I did all the mixture of 3, right? And literally the setter manager hired me 2 hours later. And what's funny is he was supposed to talk to the business owners first and actually interview other people to get a confirmation. But he had so much confidence in me that he just said, fuck it, and just took me on. And that's what I want you guys to be aiming for on these interviews. I want you to have a situation like this with George, where like, the interview experience was so good, he literally just broke the rules and said, you know what, I'm taking on this guy because he is going to put in the work. I'm confident in him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember he told me in this interview, okay, give me like a day, I'll get back to you. I said, perfect. 3 hours later, hey Ben, we want to take you on. And again, I asked him afterwards why. Like I said, he felt so confident, in fact, the business owner would say yes because he had a really good feeling about me. Now, before I keep going, any questions at all on the Loom interview process? Anything at all? No? Perfect. Now, I covered my story, interviews, Looms. I want to move to tactics. So let's say now, like, you're in a setting role or even closing role. This can also apply. What actually makes all this work? The mindset needed to actually be an A-player setter, right? I want to go into tactical stuff now. And what does really an A-player setter look like? I kind of put it into 3 main things. So first, you have performance habits. So they're adaptable, sharpened skills, love feedback. Number 2 is winning beliefs. So every lead is warm. Sell the call, not the offer. And number 3 then is identity traits. So having a killer mindset, pull every lever, and master frameworks. Now I'll go into these in way more detail. So firstly, for performance habits is adaptable, right? A-player setters, they don't complain. They adapt. They don't dwell on problems. They fix them. Like a great example, maybe you guys might have experience doing this if you're ever on an offer. Marketing's down. There's not a lot of new leads coming in. Like, you know, the inbound isn't as strong. A lot of setters, B, C player setters would complain and do nothing and say, oh, I'll just wait for the marketing or the ads to turn on. But the A players will find a way. For example, they might go through pipelines of leads, maybe who never closed in the past, re-engage conversations, start things again. Get resourceful with what they have, right? And that's a big, like for me, when I was on this Airbnb offer, there was times where like marketing was down, like one of the Instagrams from the business owners got banned. So like we were in a tough spot, but we didn't complain. Even as well, one time we had like 1 closer and 4 setters, so very limited availability. But we didn't complain. We found a way. We adapted to the situation. We became resourceful. And that's what creates an A-player setter to make consistent money, because it won't always be easy. There'll be times where, like I mentioned, marketing's down, shit hits the fan, but you still have to find a way in that moment to still make things work. Number 2 then, sharpening their skills. So really setting is broken down to every simple framework, and an A-player setter sharpens every framework. They don't sit around, they understand that for me to get better, I must focus on getting better every single day. So it's not just setting, like you're always improving, like you're always improving yourself. Going to the gym, for example, bettering yourself every day. Like just overall constantly becoming a better version of yourself, because that will come into like your work. If you're hitting the gym consistently, if you're, as simple as it is, getting up at the same time every morning and going to sleep same time every night, like following those small habits will help you just become even better and will help your performance too. Number 3, this is a big thing I really enjoyed, was an A-player setter in general loves to learn and get better, right? They know to grow, they must be critiqued. Like being the best comes with being critiqued. They understand nothing is ever personal if it's for growth. So essentially, feedback. If you have a setter manager, sales manager you're working with, spam them with, hey, this is a conversation, what would you do differently here? Learn as much as you can. That's super important, right? Because like the faster you improve and get better is by just getting feedback. That's a big thing I did, right? I always ask questions here. Could I have done this better? Could I have done that better? Like always looking for feedback. And don't be afraid of like asking for someone's opinion, or if you're on like a setter huddle, showing your conversation, because the more you learn, the faster you'll get better, 100%. Now, winning beliefs is super important. Every lead is warm, right? So a lot of people say, oh, I'm on cold outreach roles, I'm talking to cold leads. In my opinion, there is no such thing as a cold lead. When you break down really what a lead is, if someone's like shown interest in the offer you're on, which means they're in need of what we're selling, when you believe a lead is cold, you have already lost the call before it started. We believe every lead is warm and they will close. So every person that reaches out to you, for example, in your setting role, for some sort of help, no matter if they're surface level or whatever, they still can close because you can help them, right? And if you are booking calls or saying to the closer, oh, this lead's a bit colder, like I don't know if they'll close, like you're already putting like a thought on this lead to the closer before the call even happens, and it's like they're coming into that call thinking, okay, this might not close, I'm not going to do as hard. You could close everybody, right? Everybody you speak to, everybody you book in, we can help them, right? That is the mindset to have. That's what worked for me personally. Every lead I was speaking to that reached out to help, no matter if it was surface level, no matter if they were 18, if they were looking for help, and of course were qualified financially, whatever qualifications needed, they can close. Beliefs 2, we sell the call, not the closer, right? Maybe you guys already know this, but I just want to cover again just in case. You're not there in the DMs essentially, or even on the phone setting role, to convince or close, you're there to bridge. The goal of your conversation isn't necessarily solve their problem, but it's to create enough trust, curiosity, and relevance that they want the call, right? I don't give away the movie, I sell the trailer. The right trailer makes the call non-negotiable. I put that in because it's true, right? Like we want to really, in the conversation, really understand like the person's situation, like their struggles, what's stopping them from getting to their goals, like very similar to Trevor's framework. And then positioning the call as like bridging the gap. This is what's going to help you overcome this problem so you can get to whatever ABC goal you wanted to, right? This is a good example of just like putting into perspective. But that's what I want to do as well. And then for the identity traits, killer mindset. As a setter, you'll get tired. No matter how much you're making, you're either calling hundreds of people on a weekly basis or DMing all day on Instagram. But an A player setter understands that this is my life at stake, and every dial, every book call is one step closer to my why, my desired goal. And I want to say this because like I've had times when I was a setter, I burnt out probably twice last year because I was just working. I never left my house, that's probably why. But sometimes I forgot my why, my own goal. When you get so caught up in the day-to-day of just doing the work, it's very easy to forget like why you started, right? So if you ever feel tired, like if you're having a rough week, it's long, it's tough, like you're getting tired of setting, remember why you're doing this, what you want to achieve. Is that best version of you, for example, a 20K a month business owner, or like whatever that person looks like for you? Obviously you're in setting to help you get there. So always remember why you're doing it. That will keep you going, keep you like working and not fall into slumps. Then pull every lever. That's my second identity trait here. They do essentially, A player setters, they do everything in their power to make sure the deal closes within reason. Like every time you book a call, you must feel deep in your heart you've done everything in your power to set up the best alley-oop to the closer. Very similar to what Trevor said about the whole like framework he was breaking down earlier. You don't want to book calls that will just waste time, right? You want to really do everything you can in the DMs, like really understanding their goal, their problems, why they're not there, the urgency, everything. So when you give the call to the closer, you know you've done everything you can and hopefully this person will close because you've done your job, right? Number 3 then, don't follow scripts, master framework. So A players, they don't hide behind, for example, cookie cutter scripts. They understand the why behind the words. They use scripts as a foundation, not a crutch, right? They know the mission isn't to sound right, it's to move the prospect forward. We use scripts to navigate, not to survive. We don't memorize lines, we are mastering leverage points. Again, this is like, maybe you guys already know this, but following scripts will hurt you. I've done it in the past when I was a beginner setter, and like, they don't just fit conversations. Some people will say a certain message and if you use a script, like it just won't fit. So understanding the framework on how like you're gonna approach the conversation, but of course you can personalize, ask the questions whatever you want, but knowing how to lead the conversation is what you want. Now, I want to open up the floor to the Q&A. So overall, that was my slides for today, guys. And just based on everything I broke down today, I want to hear from you guys. Do you have any questions at all? Loom, interviews, the A player traits, anything? But was it helpful?
Great job there. Someone's got to have a question.
Was it that good? You're just speechless.
How many job applications would you recommend and like outreach would you recommend sending out for somebody that's looking to get on a position?
I think really as many as possible. I think one huge thing as well, just on top of my head, one big thing I've noticed, a big mistake setters make especially, or closers, is when they make a Loom video, they just make one and just spam it to as many people as you can.
Like not personalized?
No, yeah, never do that, because that will show the business owner that you're lazy or not going to put in the work. So even though it's more work, every like application you apply for has to be a personalized Loom video, like to them, like, hey, Trevor, like, you know, actually speak to the business owner and personalize them. Like my one I showed you guys, extremely personalized. So to answer your question, Trev, honestly, if you're a complete beginner or if you're just looking for a role, as many as possible, take on as many as you can, but personalize everything to them.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Why do you, like, as far as setters goes, I see that you guys bounce around, some of you guys bounce around from offer to offer. What are some tips that you have for like finding a good offer, staying on that offer, and not constantly looking for a new role position?
Good question, yeah. I think really what I would do is I would always, if you're talking to a setter manager, sales manager, whoever you're interviewing or whoever's interviewing you, is like, what's the vision with the business? Like, where are you guys going? What's the plan for the business? You want to, in my opinion, be part of something that's like growing. Like when I was in the Airbnb offer, those two girls were on a mission to just revolutionize the Airbnb industry in the UK. So you're coming to a business where like they're doing well, but they're going somewhere massive, right? Like I've been part of offers which didn't work out, and it was just because like the business owner wasn't taking things seriously.
It's probably Garrett, dude.
Yeah, but just pause for a sec. But yeah, just finding a company that's like actually going somewhere, has a good mission statement, and actually is going to create impact in the world. But also, in my opinion, having a very good culture as well, like a good team in there where like everyone's one unit. Like we're all moving to the same goal. We're all working hard together. Like on the Airbnb offer I was a part of, like the closers, the setters, they were fantastic. Like we were all one big unit, moving together, help each other out. Like whenever we had a payment come through the Slack, we're like, let's go. Like everybody was like all together. The worst team I've been part of where there's no culture. People are strangers, closers fighting over the same lead, like a horrible place to work for. So to answer your question, Alex, understanding the business owner's vision, where they want to get to. So if you come into this offer, you're actually going to be part of something that is going to be a long-term thing if you want to stay there, of course. And then two, culture. What's the culture like? If it's a toxic culture, get the hell out of there. But if it's a positive one, like they're bigging you guys up, fantastic.
Nice.
Anything else?
I got a question.
Go for it.
Where's the coolest spot you've worked remote?
Good question. I would say Greece. Yeah, Greece was amazing. Yeah, I was on a cliff overseeing the sea, doing some setting like that. Nah, Greece is better. Nah, Greece was the best place ever. It was unbelievable. So yeah, that was good.
Question.
Yeah.
Why don't you do closing?
I mean, I do it now. Technically, I just took a different route. Instead of doing setting to closing, I did setting, offer,
Why don't you do
closing.
full-time closing?
I technically do for my own thing.
I'm talking about like on a different business.
I could, but like, it's not for me personally. I actually really enjoy setting more for me personally. So that's why I start my own offer, because setting's my thing. Closing's fun, but I for some reason really enjoy setting. So
like, if somebody, let's say they start making like 5K a month as a setter and they have the option to go down like closing, or they have the option to like get more into like management, maybe running their own business, like that type of thing, what option would you recommend based on like what you think would be best for them? Like
good question.
and stuff?
I think it really depends on like what you want, really, like kind of what is really your goal. Like some people are different, right? Like some people want to be setter managers because they really enjoy leadership and just setting, like myself, and want to manage teams. Other people maybe want to take that next level and like actually get on sales calls and do closing. So it really depends on what you want personally. What is more like, for me, like closing, like it's fun, but I really enjoy setting. I always found it fun. I like the grind. So that's why I decided to do my own coaching and like do management here and there as well, because it's what I really enjoy. But if closing was more of a passion, I really enjoyed that, then hell yeah, I do closing instead. So it really depends on what you want, really.
Nice.
Any more questions, or is that it?
Yeah, you mentioned like you burned out twice last year.
Mm-hmm.
How did you, like after the fact, right? How did you deal with keeping your like mental fortitude in check? Making sure that wasn't a thing that happened again?
That's such a good question. It's not really spoken about really in like remote sales. It's super easy. Big reason why that happened in the first place, my whole burning out, was because you see, I was just working all day. I'd wake up, I'd work, sit in my room all day, and then eventually become nighttime. I have to go to bed. And I did not have a good like routine going for myself. I neglected my health, the gym, everything, because I just hyper focused on setting. I was making good money, but everything else was being neglected. And like, you can do really well for a short period of time, but then obviously long term it's going to burn you out. So a couple of things really is like, firstly, changing your environment can do wonders. Like you just traveling somewhere, even taking like a plane ticket by yourself, new environment, like it's a new place to build new habits, like that can just take you out of that rut. But also having a very structured routine in place. So making sure that you are taking care of yourself firstly. Forget setting and closing. Your health's in check. Like you're going to the gym, exercising, whatever you want to do for you. But making sure like mentally you're good. Don't put work above yourself is what I'm trying to say, right? Don't put work above your mental health and everything. Make sure you're in good check, have a good solid routine. So maybe if you're best working like in the afternoons or evenings, you can plan your schedule around that. Or if you're a morning person, same thing. Like with me, I just worked, do you know what I mean? From like fucking 9 until maybe 10 or 11 at night. So having a clear structure in place that works best for you, taking care of yourself, and even changing your environment. If you're in a bad environment, change it to, you're in a good place here, getting around with guys, or even going somewhere by yourself. Like that can really help reset yourself. And when I did that, when I changed my environment and like changed things around, I knew when I came back what to do differently. Sometimes you need to take yourself out of that environment to see like, okay, here's how I get out of the rut. When you're in the rut, it's difficult to get out of it, if you get what I mean. Yeah. Was that helpful?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Amazing. All right, well, is there anything else? No? You all good? Amazing, well.
Alrighty.
All right, well, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you all found it helpful.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ben.